What these people want is you to suffer, be miserable, and die. Every moment of trans thriving, trans happiness is a nail in them. While we were gone, apparently, like, the Daily Wire just decided to go full genocide rhetoric. We're kind of late to this party because God knows that, like, this was a thing, and people already have talked about it, but, you know, we gotta give our say. So let's watch it. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's okay.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages.
True.
If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's
no.
Man can't become a woman?
What about the reverse? I mean,
I'm just saying, I'm pot of shit. I'm just sorry. That's how it is. Anyway.
It's false, then we should not indulge it. Especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology...
Oh, so it's actually worse than I thought. No, I've seen this. But, like, yeah, so as you can see, the based Alejandra Caraballo talking about this, and, you know, what exactly do you think eradication entails? Like, so one of the things that, like, they go on to say is, like, you know, this is not genocidal rhetoric. We're just talking about getting rid of the practices, which, of course, is going to lead to suicides and death and forcible detransitions in states where these laws go through. But on top of that, what's really fascinating is that they try to talk about is transgenderism. Now, if I said we were going to get rid of Judaism, you would say I'm an anti-Semitic cunt.
or autism, you might say, you know,
there's no other way to frame it. No, yeah, I'm getting rid of autism.
Yeah, like that's not how that works.
Like, this is utterly nonsensical. So let's go on. Let's see what else he has to say. You know, maybe he clarifies. And
to eradicate transgenderism from public life? And it's a good question. I'm glad people are talking about that. That was the point of my speech. What would it mean to eradicate the preposterous ideology of transgenderism from public life at every level?
Please inform me.
I'll tell you, but first I got to clear the air a little bit.
Oh,
when
no,
you want to
okay,
clear the air,
really?
You got to check out Rabbit Air. Go check out Rabbit Air today. Put simply,
how much did you get paid for
eradicating transgenderism
so
from public life would mean behaving as American society did before, say, 2015.
So forcing us back in the closet, living in ghettos, being jokes on in movies such as Ace Ventura.
Wait, did he say 2015?
2015. No, remember, in their minds, trans people only existed for the last 8 years. Because they're fucking idiots.
Is that like how gay people started being a thing in the 80s?
Again.
Literal shit that I've heard, by the way, in my human sexuality college class. Okay?
Again, real quick, just there were trans people before 2015. First off, the transsexual empire in a TERF book was written in the early 80s, which means there was enough time for trans people to exist to write a book about why we were bad against women. Like, also, it's stupid and bad, but do you see, like, they have no concept.
My favorite based Pink book absolutely references trans people in like the 80s, okay? Just saying.
I swear to God, these people have
Where
like
have we
goldfish
been?
brains. Yeah, like,
well,
anyway.
oh no, that's right. Well, you know what they destroyed in
Florida?
No, the Sexual Research Institute in Germany.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that's what Nazis do.
Again, that got destroyed, so apparently nothing exists after that.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. Yeah, no, this is just how they roll. Yeah, and as known in history, we have to give Michael Knowles the benefit of the doubt, right? This is a good faith argument. So just like in Germany, when the Nazis took over, not a single homosexual was harmed.
It's not that, you know, Britain had just kind of like almost had just legalized everything before the war had started.
Are you fucking kidding me? Anyways,
books I've read on history.
Before around 2015, we did not have any acceptance of transgenderism in public life.
Yeah, we did.
And it started to be introduced into public life around 2015 when Barack Obama instituted transgender military policies, and some liberals in North Carolina decided to invite men into the women's bathroom and pass all sorts of weird ordinances about bathrooms.
Thanks, Obama.
They're never going to let Obama go. It's stuck. It's in their brain. Yeah, based Comrade Obama. Let's see what he has to say here. I wonder what America was doing in the American society between 1953 and 1973.
The left never worries about going too far and alienating the centrist voter. And sometimes it hits them a little bit at the ballot box, but in the long run, it doesn't.
Because people agree with us. Like 60% of the population genuinely favors trans rights. You are a percentage. You do not matter. Like, all jokes aside, these people are just a small hate movement. And if you look, I actually posted this elsewhere. I can't show you my feed because it probably has nudes on it. Not mine. Probably mine. But anyway, some of them, probably others. My point is, like, I think 91% of all the trans bills that have been put out have been shot down, according to Human Rights Watch. Like, no, this is just not happening in the way that it's scary. It's awful. But again,
won everything they've gone for. They've redefined marriage. They've redefined man and woman.
Good.
They're transing the kids.
Thank God.
They don't back down. They push for the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal. Over 10 years.
No one has talked about the Green New Deal in 3 years. What are you even on about right now?
Wait.
There's a $90 trillion plan to completely upend our whole political order. They're still pushing on that. It's becoming more and more mainstream every day. They pushed on to abolish the police. It hurt them a little bit in the midterms. They still push, and they have weakened the police departments. And
good. The police departments are literally just guardians of capital.
We really need more social workers and therapists involved. Oh, and community resources in general.
And they have weakened law enforcement, and they have opened our border, and they've succeeded.
No one has opened the border. Oh my God. Find me the border. What border? You mean Canada? What are you talking about? So you're trying to get YMS to stay out of the country? Is that what it is? We just don't want those damn Canadians in their syrup? The fuck are we talking about right now? The border's about the same as it was.
Mistake that a lot of conservatives have made in the past, they're not making it right now, fortunately, is they think that political movements are won by being the most centrist type of candidate you can possibly be and following the consensus view. That's not how political movements are won. Political movements are won by highly motivated groups of political minorities who have a very clear vision, who don't just follow the consensus view, but who craft the consensus view. That's how political movements are won. That's how the libs have won for the last 50, 70 years. And if conservatives want to start winning, we need that clarity too. People want a choice, not an echo, to quote Phyllis Schlafly, one of the most effective political activists of the 20th century. People want leadership and a clear vision. They'll follow that. Without a clear vision, if we're just going to be the Democrats' light, people are going to vote for the Democrat.
This is just
Nazi rhetoric. These are just genocidal rhetoric.
None of this is even like valid political like commentary.
Well, first off, the thing is yeah, it tends to be the people at the far margins that do push the Overton window more so. It's not centrist, but the joke is like, beyond him being correct about that one facet, he's essentially saying, we just need it to go mask off. We just need to be as hardcore fascist as possible and try to... Yeah, that's true. Why do they try to make liberals sound so based? Like, where are the liberals in that world? I want to be in his world where liberals apparently are like dominating forces, where trans people have already won. Like, holy shit. So some things came out of this. One of my favorites is this. So this title changed 3 times. First it said, CPAC speaker calls for the eradication of trans people. And then this one, this opie-looking motherfucker got butthurt and got super mad saying he was going to sue because he was so mad. Ooh. So then they changed it to CPAC speaker calls for the eradication of transgenderism, because I'm assuming his editor came in and made him change it. Then they came in again, and it's still, by the way, filed under evil. I love that. To CPAC speaker calls for the eradication of transgenderism and somehow claims he's not calling for the elimination of transgender people.
And then went real hard right after, and here we are.
Yeah. So again, this is the goal. There is no other goal here. Aaron Reed is correct here. There is no difference between transgenderism, that is the belief that their trans people are real and should have rights, and trans people.
Well, and like, the really sucky part is that this eradication leads back society in so many different ways, not just trans rights, but also like, hey, this kid that that likes things, just barely outside of, like, the gender norm that, like, toy companies, want you to think of. Oh, because, no, really, like, a lot of the separation that happened was because of companies trying to make money, okay? It takes us right back in there. And all of that fucking mess.
Absolutely. Also, this is something that got brought up. So 2 big effects came out of this, other than everybody making fun of Michael Knowles on Twitter. Now Michael Knowles is like in some kind of weird space race with Matt Walsh to see who the bigger fascist is. It's really weird because Matt Walsh still wins in that weird, I'm pretty sure he violates his children's consent kind of way, allegedly. I saw that in a video, a fish had it. Anyway, this happened. Apple and Google are not enforcing their stated terms of service as the Daily Wire app spreads violent anti-LGBT hate. So to put that in perspective, their rhetoric has gotten so bad that it technically violated both Apple and Google's stores, and they did nothing about it.
Yay.
So fuck Apple and Google, because to me, this just smacks of you just don't want a large news organization to come at you with their lawyers when you would be fully in your right to exercise your terms of service.
And probably have more money, and bigger lawyers to deal with it.
Now, if you want to see an interview on this, I haven't watched it yet, but Vosh apparently went through and interviewed this chick. What is it? Her name is Christina Buttons? Cute name, but apparently she's a transphobe. She decided to leave the Daily Wire because of this rhetoric that happened. Basically, she wants to save the trans kids because the transing of the kids is bad, but isn't against trans people as a whole, which is weird, but go off. But apparently she decided to leave because she thinks they're going too far, that going after adults and taking away adults' God-given right to be able to transition should they desire to is too far, and the idea of eradicating transgender people from all of public life seems a bit far. I'm glad she has a line. That's good. It's a thing. So...
Sounds like she got in over her head and went, oh shit. Oh.
I was told that the Daily Wire stance was that adults could live their lives however they pleased so long as they kept kids out of it. There was no clash between safeguarding the children and tolerance for alternative adult lifestyles, even the ones that might be regarded as unhealthy. It was a message I could get behind. But then, apparently, they kept going until there are transsexuals who are not ideologues, who know they cannot literally identify out of their sex, who believe their medical transition is a choice for adults, not children, to make. I count some of them as my friends. Pick-me-ass bitches, but go off. They are trying to educate the public, using their unique positions as transsexuals. I swear to God, she's talking about fuck. Anyway,
oh, no.
To deflect ad hominem criticisms that they are motivated by prejudice or perversion. I mean, if they have any perversion, it's the boot licking. Go off, though. Shoe fetishes happen. I'm not going to judge. Some have also participated in helping pass legislation to protect women's sports and safeguard children. Again, Buck Angel and Caitlyn Jenner need to stop being a thing.
Anyways.
So...
Oh, like my friend Blair White.
Yeah, the one that was literally told by, that blonde Nazi during that debate? That essentially like you should just grow out your mustache and be a man. Like, what the fuck? Like, so why are we bringing this up? Why is this a thing? The reality is this has always been the conservatives' goal. They've always wanted to do this. They've always wanted us gone. They are now working towards that end, and they're being very open and direct about it. And the reality is like, for anyone who's a trans person, none of this is a surprise. Recently, I had to write a letter to a client's parents. I'm making a generic version that I can show you guys on stream, because obviously I can't show client-related stuff. But basically what I had to do was write about a 10-paragraph, maybe a 7-paragraph, give or take, letter with citations showing why bringing up the concept of transgenocide is actually kind of pointing at something very real, even if you don't like the language. Because, of course, I have to work with parents, too. I can't just be a brat and, tell them to stop. But I can say, I think you need to take what your kid's bringing you and your kid is afraid of more seriously. This stuff is scary. The thing I really want people to consider about this is that, and the thing that me and Zena have been talking about this for a while now, is this just comes back to what we've been doing already. 1, build community. 2, if you're up for it, purchase firearms.
Yep.
As long as you feel safe to do so.
Or take self-defense classes, if those are an option.
Also do both. 3rd, highly recommend you get your passport updated. We're looking into doing it after we look into the house stuff. But here's the thing. There is another part to this. And the part to this is we need you to survive.
Yep.
So the segment we did before this was about Eden Night and how fucking awful that situation was. I'm not going to go into the specifics because, 1, I want to keep these segments separate for her sake and just for our own mental health. But the reality is that what happened to Eden is unique because of several factors, but the outcome isn't. The outcome that happened to Eden
and the social forces at play
are very much in play with all of us. The fact is what the GOP is trying to do by taking away gender affirming healthcare is getting us to die.
Well, and even one of the fixers in that situation was connected to the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, we read that, like, no, they're actively part of that.
The reason why we talk about Eden first is because that's more important. She was a lovely person, and her life was taken by monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that segment if you want to know more. I assume most of you already do, but it's still important. But the outcome, that's what we really need to take from this, because this Michael Knowles thing happened right before Eden's the announcement that Eden had passed away. It's actually very weird, because the thing is the correlation here is that this is the thing that Michael Knowles wants. This is the thing that Matt Walsh wants. The outcome they want is for us to disappear back into the shadows and there to be no trans-affirming healthcare. None. They want us to die.
Mm-hmm.
And the simple fact of the matter is that while gender-affirming healthcare is not perfect, we'll be talking about this in another segment, but the reality is that there are a lot of things that have changed. If you read Julia Serrano's book, The Whipping Girl, no longer do trans women have to be attractive enough or pass enough to be able to actually get hormones or surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
No longer do they have to sleep with their doctor to try to, force the situation. Not to mention, we now have trans-affirming healthcare for kids. Granted, that's being attacked, but we do have it. We now have most insurances being willing to cover HRT. A lot still fight, but we can push them on it. We even have places like Blue Cross Blue Shield being willing to cover FFS when pushed on it. The reality is that gender-affirming healthcare is nowhere perfect, but it's important.
Well, and there are a lot of groups still working on it and pushing it. A lot of the organizations and hospitals are also, of course, doing their best to push on insurance companies to cover even more.
We're always pushing. We're always working. But this is one of the things we'll be talking about in a future segment, which is, in these circumstances, yes, things are not perfect. There's gatekeeping. There are problems with the system. There are problems with individuals in the system not being trained properly. However, the reality is that these things do have some benefit in work and use. And this is why the GOP is going after them. We can critique those systems and we could try to reconstruct them in effective and more efficient ways. But in some ways, notice what they're going after. They're not trying to necessarily just outlaw trans people. What they're doing is they go after us in the bathrooms. They go after us with, the mental illness bullshit. They go after us with the new drag bills because they want to target trans women, because they always target trans women. Always, 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 forever.
Because they can't imagine, women are valid enough that, like, a man would want to be one. Like, this is just so unthinkable to them that, like, they can't even get to the point where, oh god, no, being trans is fine. Like, it's really okay.
But the problem is these people are fascists. They want us gone, and they want us to gone. This is why their major attack is against gender-affirming healthcare. They want us gone. And this is why we have to be very careful with our rhetoric. There's been things being talked about lately on Twitter and generally around that I think are actually counterproductive. We'll be talking about that later, but the reality is that that's why they're going after this stuff, is because it works. Not perfectly, not great, and it does not work for everybody. But more people are able to transition now than have ever had to in their life. Like, no one's been able to transition this much in their life. We have more trans people in existence right now in America than we've ever had previously.
Yeah, we have enough people that we can actually get accurate data for,
Like, absolutely. Yeah. Ignoring the fact that, think of all the scores of people that existed in the past that never got the opportunity to transition because there was no representation, no understanding this existed. We know trans people even existed back in the 1930s. Well before that. There's been examples of this throughout history. But even, like, far back as the 1930s in regards to, like, the Institute of Sexology.
Oh, yeah, no. They were using different language for things. They were absolutely going, no, this is just a thing that can happen to humans.
Yeah.
Right?
People who don't believe that trans people exist or think that gender is the same as sex are just the flat earthers of social sciences.
Yep.
They want us dead. Conservatives want us gone. And the reason why we're bringing this up, even though it's already passed, it's already happened, is one, it was tremendously funny because it was a very mask-off moment. The Rolling Stone changing the article name was a really wonderful roller coaster ride of, oh, that's a wonderful, article name. Oh, wait, they changed it back. Lack of spine, and then they changed it to something funnier, which was even better. But the outcome that happened to Eden is what these motherfuckers want. They want us dead. So what I'm asking everyone is, besides the three things, arm yourself if you feel comfortable, get community, get your passport, live. Fucking live. And I don't just mean stay alive, I mean live your life. Find your happy moments. Find connection. Find genuine connection with people. What these people want is you to suffer, be miserable, and die. Every moment of trans thriving, trans happiness is a nail in them. Yes, they can try to take away our HRT. We will find a way to survive. They can try to take away surgeries. We will find a way to survive. We cannot give in. You have to think of this as what it is. It is a social siege. If it's possible, and I know everyone's going to post the fucking emoji, I think it's important that if you can go to a state that actually is a lot safer, do it.
Or even just a city over.
Yeah. Especially states that are, by definition, sanctuary states. But here's the thing. If you can't, and a lot of people can't because moving is really expensive, uprooting your life is really hard. That's why the Just Move meme exists, and why we make fun of Lily about it, because it's an abhorrent way to think. We need to work in these states to try to get these people out or try to make them better. So please, if things get bad, call a suicide hotline. If you need help, look for a therapist. If you can't find a good therapist, try to look all over your state. People are doing teletherapy. You have a lot more options than you think.
Sometimes it can take a few tries, and that's okay.
Exactly. Do your best. If you can, do your personal work and get to a place where you're happy, a functional person. If you can work on your trauma, do it. Never give in to these people. They want to eliminate us. This is the most open and direct anyone has been, in my opinion. With this much actual notable publicity, you have to survive. We need each other. We cannot have more wonderful people like Eden gone. We need to protect each other as communities so we don't lose another person like Brianna. Keep that shit in mind. All right? We'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel further, you could go to patreon.com/XenonPoppy, and you could become a patron for as low as $3. If you want to support us further, you could donate below with a super thanks comment, or you could, in fact, even go to our website, which is currently transgrowtherapist.org. You can go there and either donate directly, or you can even get a subscription and get a cool colored name and chat next time we stream. Anyway, thank you again.